You're in limbo. You're in limbo.
Limbo, slow death, hot dreams unmet. Trust our personal purpose to serve, so we walk around to regress. What's going on, folks? It is now Saturday night, I believe. Yes, Saturday night.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Troy. That's how I keep him around, keeps me on track, keeps me on schedule. We are here with Zero and Jack from the band Forest Hills. Welcome, fellas. How you guys doing tonight?
Hello.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah.
Totally.
It's a pleasure. We're looking forward to it. We wrap it up. How are you guys doing? Where are you guys at right now?
We are in New York City at
New
home.
York. Okay, that's
New
home.
York.
That's home. Because I remember reading you guys kind of met. Was it out in Los Angeles when you were looking for a band?
Yes,
Cool.
I was in Los Angeles for about 5 years. How long were you?
I was in LA for 7 years.
Okay. And was that the goal? You guys were out there trying to find a band, or you were out there for just regular old reasons, going to school or stuff like that? What was up?
Yeah, I was out there to try to find musicians to work with. I'd been in Vegas for a little bit, and I just wanted more people to kind of draw from that might have the potential of what I was looking for.
I was kind of coincidentally moving there. My mother moved over there for work, and I followed, and then I started college, so I stayed for a while, and then I met Jack.
Nice.
Fantastic. And Jack, you've been in a few bands. Sounds like quite a few bands, just from reading the bio there. What kind of bands have you been in, and how did you guys end up finally connecting?
The first bands I was ever in were like church worship bands, and then I started working with just anybody I could. Moved to Vegas, just looked on Craigslist for bands. I found my band I found a band out there probably a good 5 months after I moved there called Trap Key. Worked with them for a couple of years, and then I moved to LA, and I continued to work with them for a bit. And then I worked with a whole bunch of other bands, and then I met Zero, and we formed Forest Hills.
Then things became.
Yep.
And then everything good happened after that, I'd say.
There, exactly. And now we're where we're at, and just rocking it, killing it. I'm seeing you guys do a ton of stuff online, getting the name out, loving social media. Has that been a pretty big advantage for you guys right now? Have you been well versed in it? Is it just something you're doing because of coronavirus and you had to figure out how to use that really well, like many other people?
We've been heavily on social media since our band first formed. We've always been very active on all social media platforms. We were actually planning to do, since coronavirus started, we've been doing live stream concerts, and that's actually something we were intending to do before the virus even was a thing. So we were already prepared for it and getting ready to do it. So it kind of just gave us more of a platform for things that we were already intending to do.
Fantastic. That's great to hear.
That's awesome.
And so you guys are a two-piece. I'm just interested. How does that work? Is there going to be more people added to the band, or is it just you guys?
I mean, never say never, but there's no logical purpose for it right now. When our band first formed, we did audition a few guitarists and other people, but I do everything except the drums in the band, and Jack takes care of the drums, and we work well together. There's good chemistry. We have good work ethic, and, no one else that we really auditioned would mesh with our work style and what we want in our band.
That's fair enough. Why ruin something if it's working well for you, I say.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to talk about what I find is interesting is obviously you guys are younger, so you said you had everything kind of ready to go for your live streams and stuff like that before coronavirus, whereas some of the artists we talked to are quite a bit older and they're trying to figure out what the hell they're doing.
Adapt, so to speak.
Yeah, adapt. Yeah, try to figure out what a tablet is and how to turn it on and all that shit. Now I lost my train of thought entirely. Anyways, that's awesome. But what I wanted to know about is what makes you guys want to give half of your proceeds to charity after you play your shows?
We're a band that likes to give back, and as much as income is nice, other people need it even more than we do. We're very active. We're active in the LGBTQ community. We like donating to things that seem urgent at the time. Like before it was coronavirus relief. Before that it was the Australian brush fires. Right now it's going towards Black Lives Matter foundations. But we work heavily with other charitable causes like the Breast Cancer Foundation. All of our shows are epilepsy friendly. So we work with the Epilepsy Foundation. We love giving back to our fans come from all walks of life. And so, we have fans who are epileptic, we have fans who are LGBTQ, we have fans who are of different ethnic backgrounds. And so why not show our support and advocacy for those groups? Why not be as inclusive as possible by giving back to not just our fans, but our community?
Right, totally. It's just that's awesome because some of the music scene that I'm used to around these parts, it's every man for himself and fuck off. Taking my money. If I don't get my money, I'm not playing anymore. That's it.
Yeah,
Especially
inclusive hasn't been a word that's been used too much around here too often.
What was it? What was it?
Inclusive.
Inclusive
people.
Okay,
Yeah. We come Southern Saskatchewan. It's a very conservative place. So if you are anyone who is different of any kind, it can be a rough ride. And has that been the case for you guys? How did you guys grow up? Like, what made you want to be so inclusive and be so aware?
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens no matter where you go. Even, in New York City, the melting pot of the United States, there's still, racism and other social issues that arise in a place like this where you could get on a bus and hear 12 different languages at once. I grew up in, I wouldn't say it was the worst life ever, but, my parents weren't together. I had some rough step parents, some abusive household stuff, not the best. I had bullying, bad school situations. I won't go into too much detail about it, but I had some stuff that your average child does not have to deal with. And so music and creativity was a very cathartic and important outlet for me since a very young age. I'd say as soon as I was able to speak, I was singing. And as soon as I was able to hold a crayon, I was drawing. And that was always something that would help calm me down. And then by the time I was age 12, I was, extremely suicidal. I was self-harming. I wasn't doing well. And music saved my life at that point. And that was something I decided. I was like, I want to do this for other people, because if I was able to find a reason to stay here through music and all the crap that I've been through, anyone can do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up, I was homeschooled. I was very blessed with my family and the opportunities I got to have because my family worked hard, so I also learned to work hard. And it's just music really, I saw how it affected other people, especially having grown up doing worship music. I really saw how music could affect other people by not being preachy. You could sing a song to somebody and it could totally change their life rather than getting up at a pulpit and yelling at them. So it was just, music's a much more delicate and nice way of communicating things, and people's lives can change from it. And so that was really where my heart came from, and that's still where it's at today, is like, hey, what's something I can do to help people? And Zero's stories in his songs are things that people need to hear. And a lot of times it's hard for people to talk about those things. It's hard for people to communicate even what those feelings are. And his music and his songs really, like, his art expresses that. And I think that's something that other people really need to hear.
Certainly, yeah, I agree with you. It's all over the Break Free album for sure. Absolutely, that's your guys' first album. And when the next one comes out next month, right?
August 1st.
August 1st, but the pre-order is next month.
Yes, July 1st is the pre-sale.
Oh, Canada Day. There you go. Look at that. That's not a coincidence.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. Well, we'll have to promote the hell out of that. Retweeting, whatever.
Whatever we got to do.
That's right. We'll get him their honorary citizenship for whatever we got to do.
That's right.
And is that the goal down the road? Oh, it's not to be Canadian, but whatever. Want to tour around the countries, hit up some different countries in the future here? It sounds like you guys are really getting your foot out there, your name out there, and killing it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We were actually starting to plan to do a U.S. national tour, but obviously with the virus, that's not really possible right now. So right now we're going to wait until next year, I think. We'd never put our fans in danger and host a concert before everything was safe. But yeah, the first goal, we did our first show out in Los Angeles, actually. And then we drove cross country and came back to New York. So, we definitely want to play shows in all the states if we can, and then definitely international within the next 5 years.
Yeah,
sure.
Canada's not too far away, especially living here. So
yeah.
Yeah, you just go to Toronto. That's the only place American bands play anyways.
Oh,
wow. We're gonna do a Canadian tour, but we're playing Toronto. And
yeah, exactly. When
Montreal,
they say,
Toronto,
Canadian tour always
North
looks
American,
like this.
Yeah.
It goes Montreal, Toronto, and then BC. It skips every prairie place, but we deal with it. We love it. We'll drive if we have to, but that's, I'm looking forward to where you guys end up regardless. And being out
we like playing in places like in the US, no one ever goes to like Wisconsin or Ohio or like places that are more out in the country. And we like going there because everyone's itching for a show. Like even
That's
if they're
right.
not necessarily into our kind of music, nobody stops there. So they'll just come to a show. If there's a
They'll
concert
show up just to see what happens because somebody turned the lights on at night. And away you
Exactly.
go.
Those are normally the most like energy filled shows because people are just happy to be there.
Yeah, they
Like,
just want to party.
That's great. Why not? Hell yeah.
Have you guys come across like any challenges through touring, like going to some of these small venues, or just challenges in general for, you know, some of the music you write or the way you present yourself, anything like that nature?
The only issue that we've had has been we always make sure the details for the gig are very clear. We always plan months in advance, and we always bring all our own gear to the show and use our full equipment. Usually once they see how large Jack's kit is, they start getting weird. They're like, oh, can you just use the house kit? Because they underestimate our ability to like set up within our allotted slot time.
Sure.
But we are able to set up within 7 minutes. Like we've timed it, we're fast, we've done it several times, and they just kind of start getting iffy. But once we set up and they see that we did it, they're fine.
Right on. So
And
not
even
much
normally-
challenges.
yeah, normally smaller venues actually don't. They're a lot more chill than some of the ones that are supposed to be more professional.
Yeah.
The professional venues think that you're not professional just because they have, a lot of times they kind of have an attitude about where they work. So they automatically assume that they're going to teach you something.
Trials and tribulations of the road there. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of this stuff is just learning as you go. Like, has there been any horror stories out on the road or anything like that, or places you've been like, okay, that one didn't go as expected, but we'll learn from it and move forward?
Our very first show we ever played was out in Los Angeles. It was at the Whiskey A Go Go, and that's a very famous venue because a lot of big artists start there. Very unprofessional staff. Everyone set, not even just ours. Everybody set that night was a shit show. It was terrible. They cut our set in half because the bands before us took too long to set up and decided to go over, and they blamed us. They're pay to play. Like it just, their attitudes are terrible there. And we kind of walked away like, we're glad that we played just to be able to say that we played there. And we're glad that the fans enjoyed it because it was fully packed. The Whiskey holds 500 people, and it was a great
We got a lot
set.
of fans that we didn't even meet in person.
Yeah,
like,
but
it was-
still, the staff are terrible. They were very unprofessional, just assholes.
And that was the start, right? Now you know what not to do or what you don't want to see, right?
Yeah.
It's good. I think if you can take a lot of those situations and turn them into a positive or turn them into a learning experience, hell yeah, that's the way to go. We talk to, a lot of small-time bands, big bands where they go through ups and downs, but they just get by, they figure it out and move on.
yeah, exactly.
Everyone that we've worked with since then has been really great. I think that first show, it was great that it was our first because it taught us to be adamant about what we need and who we are as a band and not just take BS from someone just because they work at the venue.
Right.
You know, don't let your set suffer because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of, I don't know. I worked in venues for a long time myself, and I guess our venue was, the biggest one in town. You call them, when you have an artist come in, you treat them like gold. You don't fucking you don't dick around.
Yeah.
You're professional. These guys are here. They're the reason why you have a job. They're the reason why you're making money tonight. Give them what they need. Treat them with respect. That's all it is. And that's how it should be throughout. But unfortunately, not the Whiskey A Go Go, but I imagine they're pretty pretentious just because of the legacy of that place, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, and they used to have their crew actually not too long ago used to be very consistent, and like I got to know a few of the sound guys, and like you got to know the crew, and once you showed up and showed them that you knew what you were doing, they loved you and they were great, and they would take care of you all the other times.
Oh, okay.
But lately the turnover there has just been nuts.
Well, Jack and I individually, before Forest Hills Forum, we both played at the Whiskey several times. We both lived in LA for a while, and it's just their most recent staff is just not professional. They're just assholes. That's all I can say.
Yeah. But
Describe it.
it's all water under the bridge now.
That's right.
Sounds like a hazing ritual or some shit. Like, well, let's just see if these guys know what the fuck they're doing. Or not. They are legit. Okay, well, I guess we'll just fuck off.
Paying dues, exactly. Whatever.
Exactly.
That's the way you got to do it. Get them out of the way early.
Yep.
But Zero, I'm interested here, just checking your bio here. Just, all the songwriting stuff you've done started by the age 12. How has that progressed to now? Like, what were you writing about back in when you were 12? And, how have things changed for you moving forward?
I've always written about things that I could personally relate to. I never write about something I'm unaware of. So I always write about how I'm feeling or past experiences. So in terms of progression, my songwriting style has always stayed the same, but obviously I've gotten better over the years of writing. I've written over 1,000 songs at this point. So, you know, obviously quality over quantity. That's why we only have 2 albums that we're releasing so far. But I've definitely learned a lot from just continuously writing and being in different bands and working with producers. But yeah, the actual content itself has always been, how am I feeling? What's been happening recently? What do I need to get out of myself? What's going to be cathartic?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. And who are some of the influences from a writing standpoint? Not so much maybe just musical bands that you're a fan of, but you know, writing in general.
None.
None, just all you. It's from your personal experience and.
Yeah, I specifically try not to have an influence at all, and that applies to the rest of our band too.
Really.
Once you say that you're going to have a specific influence, you're essentially saying, I want to sound like this person, or I want to be a variation of this person, or you're saying, I want to take what this person did and be inspired by it and create my own version of it. You're not really creating something unique.
Sure, I like that take. And like, is it tough to have people compare you to bands in a sense? Because that's generally what's going to happen, right? You're going to be, hey, I think they sound like these people, or you might like them if you like this person, but you're just still trying to carve your own way and sound, you know, like yourself.
No, I mean, I think that's perfectly fine. Obviously, you know, we just make the music that we want to make. We don't try to sound like anyone else. But if someone says, hey, that one song sounds like Linkin Park, and I love Linkin Park, I'm like, that's awesome. Or if they're like, you guys sound like Linkin Park, Evanescence and Flyleaf and Tool all combined, I'm like, okay, you're bringing together 5 different bands. Like, at what point is it its own unique sound and not, you know, similar to something?
Yeah, no, compliments and comparisons. Like, comparisons are some of the biggest compliments, because that means people relate to it and it fits into their head and they can actually enjoy it without having to work hard to get to know it better. Like, it's relatable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And sometimes, yeah, we just want to relate at times. Sometimes just something to know. And I think that's really hard. Me and Joey generally talk about this a lot, is how hard it is to, I guess, find music with this massive pool of music out there, right? Because there's so much click and point, and it's there anytime you want it now. And how have you guys been finding that you've been getting fans, or where have your fans been coming from? How have they been hearing about you?
I mean, we're an independent and self-funded band completely. Our fan base is growing very organically. So it's, you know, word of mouth. We do run, like, occasionally we'll run like a Facebook ad or something that, you know, goes for our music. But for the most part, it's been about us connecting with our community. We love talking to our fans. We're in a Discord server where our fans chill out with us. You know, it's been great. We're a very community-based band. And so I think our fan base naturally grows from that, because they recognize this is not just a band who I can follow and listen to their music, but if I comment on a photo or DM them, I'm never going to get a response. No, we always respond. We love talking to people.
And we really didn't start pushing the band until we had an album's worth of music to actually present to people, because then when they looked us up, it wasn't, like, we would have people be like, oh, when is your music come out? Like, it's out.
Yeah.
It's there. You can find it.
Yeah, it's also about gaining your viewers' trust, because there are so many bands that they form and either they never release anything, or they release one album or an EP and then they just kind of disband, or they drop off the radar. And we didn't want to be like that. We wanted to say, hey, we're here and we're here to stay, and we're going to keep making music, and you can depend on us. Cool. And so I think that definitely helped too.
Yeah, no, people have to learn to trust you. Because like you said, there's so much music out there that people just, oh yeah, you're in a band. Oh yeah, you came out with a song. And that's nothing against bands and songs, but it's just, people are so conditioned to the pattern that you have to break it sometimes.
Yeah, they're like, oh, where can I hear your single? And then I'll send them a link to our album, and they're like, oh, that song is great. And I already know they mean Introvert. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you like Introvert. There are 12 other songs that you can listen to. I hope you like those too. You're like, there's such a single mindset with people where they think a band will only put one thing out there. They don't have that immediate interest or trust that you're actually going to be creating content.
Right. So is that now a lot of guys we talk to are doing the single game, right? They'll release one song, they'll let it sit for 6 months, 7 months, whatever, put another single out and kind of work their way up. So you guys would take the opposite approach of that then? You'd have your albums ready to go as a whole, like a full length, or what would you prefer?
Yeah. I actually used to work in the pop industry. I worked with a pop producer. And so I'm very used to how that industry works, the business side of it, how producing singles works, because And the problem with waiting 6 or 7 months is that you're losing hype at that point. The whole reason that a single works in your favor is if you're releasing one every month, because that's a consistent release. Again, it's consistency. People see, oh, you have a song out. I liked that. Oh, you're telling me I have another one next month and the month after that and the month after that. I don't have to wait a whole year to get one other song. That's when that kind of consistency for singles helps build up for you. But at this rate, we're hashing out an album every year. So if we can say, here's 13 songs, we're going to start playing a lot of shows, and in 12 months, there's going to be another one. I feel like for us, that just sort of works better.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. No, I respect that. I like albums myself better than singles.
Yeah.
I'd rather have an album in front of me instead of just like one song. It's like, yeah, you're good, but what else you got? You know, that's just me though. Like when I first.
Eventually.
Yeah, no, never say never. You know, I'm always down for doing singles. Like I said, I worked in the pop industry and I made plenty. But you know, that's just not where Forest Hills is at right now.
Well, me as a fan, I don't know what I like yet. I just like when I can actually like. Well, I guess Jack, you said it best. Like building trust when a band can come out with an EP and stick around afterwards. I like, because some people are a flash in the pan and they're here and then they're gone, and you're like, whoa. Okay, well, I was really into that, and now they're gone, you know? So I like the approach to putting out a full-length album, because it feels like there's a band that's very committed and very, you know, ready and willing to put it out there and commit to just having a quality product out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we've all had those bands that we've absolutely fallen in love with, and then by the time we actually had the money or whatever to go see them play shows, they were done. And it's like, oh, well, that was okay. That was great.
My Chemical Romance.
Hey, they came back.
My Chemical Romance. You saw them once, Troy.
I did actually when they performed like a Warped Tour out in Calgary, and they were just a little band. You know, they were on the side stage, which was really cool because I got to be nice and close. Got, you know, the old meet and greet. That was cool because that was the year Coheed and Cambria was performing, and I love telling this story because they got booed off the stage there because Claudio was so drunk. Like, he was so drunk that, like, he was just drinking a bottle of Jack on stage, and he wanted everybody to throw stuff at him, and they did. So I think it was 2 songs in, and then the next day he had a nice press release saying, sorry, folks, my bad.
Fair enough.
Such is life. You know, concerts, it's fun. Have you guys been to some serious concerts if you really enjoyed? What are some of your favorite ones that you've been to?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Warped Tour a few times. Of course, now it's kind of sad that it's taking a hiatus, so hopefully that comes back again. Warped Tour, Avenged Sevenfold put on a great show when I got to see them. Showbread. I've seen quite a few like underground bands more in Missouri when I was kind of hungry to understand what concerts were. Once I went out to LA, well, in Vegas, I really only went to concerts I was playing at, so I was playing a show every weekend. And then LA, I didn't go to too many shows. Just, I don't know, the social aspect of Los Angeles is it's just okay. And like, it's all right. I don't know. I wasn't super attracted to Los Angeles as a music scene necessarily.
Yeah, that's why we came to New York. Los Angeles never stuck in either of our hearts. New York has a certain soul that other places just don't have, and LA does not have soul at all. But you know, on my front, like Green Day was the first concert I ever saw. They were on their American Idiot tour. I was 7. I was terrified because I was in the nosebleeds and I'm scared of heights and it was loud and there were tons of people. So I did not go see another concert for a while after that. I want to think like at least another 7 years. I also saw Muse, and that was crazy. The visuals were incredible. I saw the Linkin Park Memorial concert. I was in LA for that. And that was really awesome. That felt very spiritual that night. And I also saw Evanescence live too. And her voice got shot after a few songs, but she was really good too.
Nice. Yeah. That's dope.
Awesome.
You guys might get a kick out of this. My first show was actually Manhattan Transfer, and then after that, I'd gotten to see the Blues Brothers a few times, which was a great.
Nice.
Oh wow,
I love the Blues Brothers. There you go, man.
I knew it.
That's right.
I love
man.
that
That's
shit.
cool.
Fuck yeah. There you go.
And so, Jack, getting onto kind of what you bring to the band here, you're like the kind of musical theory guy. You got the background. You got some knowledge there. So how does that kind of intermingle with the two of you together?
Well, Zero does all the song, all of the guitar, the bass, the vocals, piano parts. He writes all of that first, and then I come in with drums. So really, I'm just able to listen well. Most about playing music is being able to listen to the music. So I'm able to listen to it, think about it, dissect it, and really figure out where I want to structure it at, which is what I really enjoy doing. So then I can make the song, I can back up the song, I can push the song, I can back it up, I can accompany it, I can really kind of pick and choose possibly where the song should be at.
Yeah, we do drums last, so I'll basically come up with a song idea. I'll record a rough demo for it. Usually it's just vocals and guitar, maybe a piano, but it's pretty bare. And then I'll send it over to Jack, and he'll figure out whatever his messed up numbers are in his head, and he'll do the thing.
Very cool. I mean, from what I've seen, it's working. It's a cool fit. What can people expect when they see you guys perform live? Like,
They can expect. I mean, we've been told consistently by many people that we're better live than we are even on the album. There are several people who have said they prefer my voice live. They like the show. They love Jack's drumming. When we perform live, it's generally Jack is on his kit, and we have backing tracks for the instruments, and then I'm just singing with a microphone. I never liked 2-piece or 3-piece bands where the singer is also playing an instrument, so the whole time they're just kind of standing there like strumming and yelling, and there's no movement. It's very boring to watch after a few songs. So I was like, hey, like I can dance around, I can look like an idiot on stage, and people just want to see a show. So we can just put the guitars, the bass, everything else on a backtrack. You play your drums, and I'll be the monkey on stage.
cool. That's awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. Now you guys are doing another live stream coming up too, right?
Yep, on July 1st when our album.
Canada Day. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll definitely be launching some fireworks in your guys' honor then, for sure. Regardless, that was happening anyways, but now I'll make double.
Couple M80s just for you guys.
Cool.
We're showing our Canadian pride.
Yes.
That's awesome. We love it. So live streams. We've got live streams coming up. What's the new music going to be compared to like the first release of the album? Is it going to be along the same lines, or have you guys made some changes to it?
I think, well, obviously our recording quality has gotten 10 times better since our first album. But Renegade, our second album, definitely explores some different genres and musical techniques that our first album did not. One thing that Renegade has that Break Free did not is it has guitar solos, which is awesome. It also dives in a little bit into the pop genre, but it still has rap, screaming, gothic vocals. It still has a lot of the same elements that the first album did, but I think it does show how we've come together as a unit rather than two people who are forming a band and kind of learning how to work with each other.
Right, for sure. So you got, like you say, you got more experience working together, so that's going to come across for sure. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this release.
Yeah, here, like, there's a little bit of everything for a lot of everybody. There's going to be something on there. I'm assuming for everybody to take something out of there. I'd love to, Joey, I think we should hook up an album review on one of our Fridays, brother.
For the new one or for this one?
It's your call. I don't care.
Whatever. Okay,
more people who get to see it. Yeah, maybe both. Doesn't matter.
Let's do both.
Me.
I already told. Jack, is it you who answers the Twitter DMs mostly? Have I been talking to you mostly?
I run everything. Yeah. Jack runs the Facebook for the most part. I help on there sometimes, but I run everything else.
Okay. Well, yeah, I said we'll have you guys back once your album drops. Then we'll do that for sure.
Yeah, we'd love that.
We'll do that for sure.
Fantastic. I love it. It's killing it. We're great. How are you guys doing right now? Just like, where we're going off topic, just to kind of get to know you guys. What's been life like in New York for you guys?
With the coronavirus, with just everything.
Yeah, I mean, life for me personally hasn't really changed that much. I stay inside maybe a little bit more than usual, but I'm pretty introverted and I like staying at home or, working on music just 24/7. So for me, like, my schedule has not really changed.
Yeah, I mean, I just moved here in last August. So I'm coming up on 1 year anniversary of living in New York. So kind of the whole time I've been here, it's been a hustle, which is fine. I'm used to that in LA, but I've just been hustling to kind of build my life back together a little bit, get comfortable in the music studio. I'm a barber and stuff, so working on some of that. And the 3 months off of work was actually kind of nice. I work at a local music store called Sam Ash here in Manhattan.
Cool.
So having 3 months off of working a retail job was actually fantastic because we were both able to work on band stuff, just nothing but band stuff and being safe for that amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's horrible that the pandemic happened, and I would never hope that it happens again. But we made the best of the time we had, and we tried to get stuff done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was a blessing that his work did shut down for as long as it did, because I'm immunocompromised. So me getting sick is a big no-no. So
Yeah.
him being off work was not just great for our band and for getting stuff done a little bit faster, but also for me not like possibly dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
you know,
plus
the
for
priorities for sure.
It's
And
up
Jack,
there.
when you say working at like a music store, was this a music store that like sells albums, records, stuff like that, or
It's equipment, Sam Ash Music Store.
gotcha?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
because
sell
I was wondering, I was like, do those still exist? Do record stores even are they around anymore? It's so hard to find them.
There's some, but they're far and few.
That's right, I know, and that's the thing. Are you guys gonna be continuing to do physical releases with stuff, or is it just gonna be more along the lines of digital, or how do you guys like to get your music out to people?
Yeah, I mean, most of our sales, I would say, are digital. We do print, like for Breakthrough, we printed 100 CDs ourselves. And so we have those, and we usually just sell those at concerts, or we'll carry some with us, and we happen to run into someone who's interested, we'll give them a CD. But yeah, the vast majority of our music sales are online.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Yeah, but like your merch sales too, I like that too. Awesome shirts, and again, half of the money goes to charities. I love that. I love that you guys just give back. Heck yeah, there it is.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's very cool. It's very nice that you guys do that, because I know right now it's just a weird time for people, and money that they can give has been really beneficial. And you guys just continue to give back to others too. I love that idea. Like, I can't stress it enough how cool it is for you guys to just be very, very with it, very open to helping others, and not just with music, just with, being compassionate, being there for people, having people reach out to you on social media, and you reach out back. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with, we know that times are hard right now because of COVID. Lots of people are out of work or they have limited hours. So we did lower the price of our merch too. It's usually $20 for a handmade shirt, but right now it's 15. So that does help a little bit, but still, half the profit goes towards donations. So.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. And I know you said some of the previous ones that you've been working with. Where are other charities that you've been supporting as well?
So before Black Lives Matter, it was coronavirus relief. Then it was for the Australian brush fires that we supported. Before that, we were working with a few different ones. We corresponded with some anti-bullying foundations, some at-risk LGBTQ youth. All our shows, like I said, are epilepsy friendly. So the Epilepsy Foundation is always involved with us. Breast Cancer Foundation. We're working on getting in touch with several different homeless shelters and other foundations that help the homeless. Yeah, we're looking into stuff every day.
Wow, good for you guys.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's good. You don't hear that. I don't hear that. I don't.
There's a lot of people now that have really taken some time to try and find a charity here and there, and with the world shit that's going on, right? I don't need to get into all of that. It's some people are trying to give a little more, but there's so much more out there than people even know. Like all those charities you're talking about, I'm like, wow, those are great places to look into, to give money
absolutely.
to.
I think some of the problem is that people tend to want to donate, which there's nothing really wrong with it, but they usually donate to something that personally affects them. Like, I have a relative who has breast cancer, so that's all that I want to support, and I want to give all my money to that. It's like, that's amazing, but there are so many other things that are very urgently needing your help, or they'll donate to something just because it's what's trending right now, or it's what's politically correct. And I feel like they do it more just so that they don't get yelled at by their fans or called out, and not really because they genuinely believe in the cause. Like there's so much that we do that.
Well, and it's nice to play shows. Like we all love music and we love to go to shows and put on shows because of music, but it's nice to play shows for more than just that.
Yeah.
Like it's nice to put on shows for that are for a foundation or for a fundraiser. Like why not make a show about more than just the fans and the music and the musicians on stage?
No, it's all about being with something that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And who would you say instilled that into you guys? Was it just something you picked up on your own, or you saw a lot of people struggling as you were growing up?
I struggled a lot when I was growing up, and I'm still working to become the kind of person that I wish I'd had when I needed someone, because I didn't have anybody. So that's the kind of person that I want to be. I recognize that just because, someone that I know or myself have not gone through something specific, that's no reason not to help someone who's having a rough time.
Don't make me cry.
You're going to cry.
I love that. I love that
That's
honest
beautiful.
answer. That's very
Beautiful answer.
vulnerable and just, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
No, and I've just seen too much. There needs to be more help.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. There needs to be more help. See a lot of people that, could give more, but they choose not to. And, you guys are maybe going to make people open their eyes and give a little bit more.
Yeah, and the difference is that that's something that we want to do. Like I said, we're not supporting a cause because it personally affects us or because it's a personal concern. It's that we recognize this is urgent. This is a global or communal issue. It has nothing to do with Jack or I. This is just something that needs to be done.
Right.
So there's no selfish intention behind it.
Right. Yeah, it's like you said, you're not doing it to be trendy or,
Right.
anything like that. That's dope. That's awesome.
And that's why we don't, we always mention, like, we give half our merch profits to charity, but we
Right.
never really use it as a marketing
Right.
standpoint. We're not trying to make our band get bigger just off of being like, we give to charity, you love us, like, I mean, yeah, it's great, but we're not using that as a big ad standpoint.
Yeah, that's just how we are. No, that's great.
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, I guess the next thing on my list that I want to talk about is more or less, the music video for Introvert. Do you guys enjoy doing videos? Is that something you're going to be continuing to do as you progress with albums, or do you find it's a passe way to promote something?
No, I loved making the video for Introvert. That was completely self-done. We had no budget whatsoever, so we just took my phone and went crazy in the forest. Yeah, we definitely want to make more music videos, but again, because we're fully independent and self-funded, it really comes down to, what do we want to do in a video that's actually going to be visually interesting? That's not just going to be me walking down a street or Jack just like standing there, because it's an investment. To make it a nice music video, you have to pay for stuff. You have to rent rooms or, buy clothes or do other stuff. And it's just, we'd rather put that back into our music and, honing our fan base and just increasing our band rather than just making nice visuals. But no, I would love to do
music videos are great. They're a great visual representation to tie in with the music so people can have more understanding.
But that's why we have a bunch of lyric videos up too. Like our YouTube, it does just have Introvert for a music video, but all of our other songs have lyric videos, or there's the songs up there one way or
lyric videos are totally important to have too. Like I said, even having that is a good visual representation for sure.
Yeah,
like, I love lyric videos.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have fans who are deaf, and they've reached out to us and they're like, oh, is there somewhere that I can read your music because I can't hear? And I'm like, yeah, like here are I'll send you a document with the lyrics, but there's also lyric videos on YouTube that you can check out, and they love that.
Nice. That's great. Wow.
And Cyril, you talking about being self-funded, totally indie. Have you guys searched different avenues or thought of other ways to try and, get money for albums? Like, things like Kickstarter to, have people like, hey, we'll invest this much money in it and we'll have the money and we'll get the CDs out. Anything of that nature?
Yeah, we do have a donate button that's available both on our Instagram and our Facebook pages, so fans can donate to our band specifically. But like I said, I've been in the pop industry and I understand labels. I had a record deal offer at one point. I understand sponsorships and all that business stuff, and it's just it's not something that Forest Hills stands for. I know there are different deals out there, but from what I saw over a 5-year period, was not something that I want to touch with a 10-foot pole with our band.
That's fair. You guys can make a run just staying independent for sure nowadays. People think that to be successful, you got to get the big deal and this and that, but the big deals aren't happening anymore.
No, and it's recognizing the value of your band. If a record label offers you $1 million, it's because they know you're going to make $3 million. So it's recognizing like, okay, you guys are giving me a deal. And often how they do it now is they wait until you're already successful and then they reach out and they're like, hey, do you want some money? And it's like, well, if I was able to build this up already by myself, I don't really need you anymore.
Right. So what would be something that would benefit you guys as far as like, say you get donations, would you use that more for promotion, for touring, for that sort of thing?
During COVID right now, we're using it to pay rent and to eat because there's no live shows. A lot of our income capabilities have been completely cut off. So right now it's just bare survival. But once this is gone, if we keep getting donations, it'll definitely be put back into the music. So it'll be for setting up touring stuff, or getting merched up for fans, and etc.
Nice. That's awesome.
We were able to get a new air conditioner in our music studio
Yeah.
because of donations.
Yeah, our
So-
AC blew out last summer in like the hottest part of the season, and we were suffering for a while. So we finally replaced that.
That's awesome. It's hot up here too, so I could see.
I was actually in Canada in summer for some martial arts training, and it was a record high of like 110 degrees or something, and
Yeah.
the place we stayed didn't have AC. And they're like,
Oh.
"Well, it's normally not this hot." I'm like,
Yeah. It's
Yeah, where
it's
were you?
normally
I'm
not
curious,
fun.
Jack. Where were you?
I was in Toronto.
There
Oh
you go.
yeah, of course.
Right.
I've been to
Yeah.
Canada sometimes.
Okay.
I was in Quebec though.
Okay.
Quebec. Oh, the French people. There you go.
Yeah.
Bonjour. Ha, ha, ha. That's how they talk.
Well,
They're
we
really cute.
like to think so.
That's in my feeble mind. That's how they talk.
That's awesome. Well, like I appreciate you guys like doing what you do, standing firm on like your values, being like very socially aware, socially conscious, and just giving back and being who you are. It seems like you guys are really authentic, and I think fans will really gravitate to that a lot.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll take this time, fellas. You tell us how we can support you, where we can support you, what you've got coming up next.
How we can give you some hard-earned money.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, our first album, Break Free, has 13 songs. It came out in May of 2019. That's available on all major download and streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Amazon, etc. Our second album, Renegade, comes out August 1st. It goes up on iTunes for pre-sale on July 1st. So that's Forest Hills Renegade. So purchasing music always helps. We also sell merch, so you can always message us to buy a CD or a t-shirt. Our Instagram is @ForestHills_band. Our Twitter is Forest Hills Band. Our Facebook is Forest Hills Official Band. Our Tumblr is Forest Hills Band. We're on like every social media platform you can find us.
Cool. Right on. We'll link it up. We'll get as much as we can on our Podbean and, promote the hell out of her. This is great. This is a great way to end off the week.
That's right.
And we appreciate that.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh,
You
anytime.
guys are awesome. We'll have you back when you drop Renegade.
Yeah, love that.
We'll do it. Big time.
Cool.
Sounds
All right. You
great.
guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the heat or the cold or whatever the hell the weather does. Much
Enjoy
love.
New York.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, fellas.
You too.
All right, that was Forest Hills all the way from New York. Great band.
Very
Totally love it.
socially conscious, aware.
That's-
They know what's going on.
That's right.
They're helping people out. What more could you ask
right.
for?
You can't, you guys got a platform to use it. That's what you're supposed to do. And they're doing it. I
Definitely.
respect the hell out of that shit.
Got it.
You got to do it. Why not? These are just, indie musicians. Imagine if there was like super prominent established bands that use their platform for the good that the little guys are trying to use it for,
That's right, but they don't because they're
They
scum.
don't.
They're
'Cause
scum.
they're fucking filthy bitch.
But we'll
Yeah.
still talk to you if you want to come on.
Yeah, if you want to come talk to us, that's fine. It's no problem. No hard feelings.
Yeah, you won't be
Better.
scum then because you'll be helping
Yeah.
support us.
But as soon as you get off the fucking pod, you're back to being a shit magnet. Richie. Just kidding. Rich boys. That's fun.
We love y'all. And Forest Hills, great. Thanks for coming on. Lot to listen to. Like not just their music, but themselves, what they support. Fantastic.
Yep.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap for the week, my man.
Woo!